Hello and welcome to Hobby Vlog number 178. Now, as it seems to be the habit at the moment, this week was not very much me doing hobbying. I was so focused on Tawny and just spent lots and lots of time with that and wasn't actually able to get as much time away as I wished, which means that the projects that I really need to progress haven't progressed as far. So I need to be a little refocused next week if I'm going to finish those. But Tawny has a deadline which is very serious, so we shall see how that goes next week. But that's just life. There's only so many hours in the day, isn't there? I didn't get any time to hobby with Rosie because we were doing lots of other things which are very much fun as well, but not hobby related. So if you're watching this for Rosie, then sorry. She will be back soon, don't worry. That the chocolate factory is going to happen. But yeah, I'll stop rambling now because it's quite a short vlog. I really hope you enjoy it. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. I do love all your comments. I do reply to every single one of them, so don't be shy. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again at the end. Right, so I have just finished applying the last of the toilet paper to this, just on the roots, and that has worked so well. I'm very pleased with that. There might be another layer to be done on it, but it's all finished and covered over now. So the next thing that I'm going to do is work on the one that's just going to be the tree trunk and not have any branches on it at all. And so what I'm going to do is make use of a little bit of masking tape to cover over the top, like that. And I think I'm going to do the same technique again as I've just done for this, and I'm going to build up in the same technique with my toilet paper because I'm really enjoying it. And hey, one should do things one enjoys, shouldn't they? So yeah, so I'm going to just do a little bit more of that on camera just to show you how I go about doing it, because yeah, it's working really well. So we'll start from the bottom and work up. So we have watered down PVA and toilet roll. And literally what I'm doing is coming along, slapping some glue down, and then just started to build it up. And I push in with the brush a lot, do a lot of the work with the brush. Now I will have to do some roots on this obviously, but I'll do the roots in a bit. But what I'm going to do basically is try to build up some thickness at the bottom of the trunk, and then once I've got some thickness, then I'll look at doing the texture. So you can see it's quite a fun process actually, because you're just like shoving things in and make it up as you go along, which is very much my style. So yeah, so I'm just going to sit and work on this, get it looking like a tree. And I don't want to go too many layers though, because it will take ages to dry, because it's a very wet work process this. Fortunately today is again going to be relatively warm, so that will help in terms of getting things dried. But yeah, you're just building up like that, and when it's dry it's hard, you see, so that's good. Right, I'll carry on with that and I'll bring you back when I'm done with this. And we've got one more type of tree to do, which I'll start once I've finished doing this toilet paper application. So yeah, I'll get this done first and then work on the final one. And I'm actually going away from doing from putting greenery on these. I might do them all as dead trees with maybe a couple of my older pre-made trees for colour. But anyway, we'll come to that when I come to actually put the board together. So yes, the final idea for trees, or final new idea to me for trees, I have finally found some pipe cleaners, chenille stems. And yeah, I'm going to have a go at making a pipe cleaner tree. Everyone else seems to have done it, so why not me? So I believe, and this is relatively easy to do, what you're doing is, well, I should be able to make a few with this quantity of pipe cleaners. Just get them all in. Actually, I might not make it with all of them, but I believe it's very similar to how you make normal twisted wire trees, except it's much easier. So there we are. We've got some to twist off to make for roots. So I always like to have roots. Though trees don't always have visible roots, just very clear about that. They don't always. But this one does. So yeah, and then you use a heat gun to melt the foam, make it turn it all hard, and then we'll paint it. So we'll have a look. It's going to be a first experiment. I've never done this before. So yeah, any of you done this before? Interesting to hear your experiences. I do know it is quite a popular technique. It's just easier and cheaper than wire wound because they don't stab you as much. Right, I'm going to keep going on with this. And when I've done, I'll bring you back, show what it looks like. I might put 2 on this base. That might not be a bad idea. I might put 2 on that base. Well, that was pretty quick. I'm obviously going to have to trim them down, but I'm going to try to stick these on now to the base, so I have something to hold on to when I come along with the flamey thing to burn them off. So as per usual, just going to use this grabby glue, because obviously I will be applying texture to these trees, and probably going to be clipping off some of these roots as well. So yeah, I'll just stick that on there, and as I say, I can clip off any that overhang. I hope this grabs enough. It's actually not grabbing very well, which is surprising me. There we are. And that doesn't bode well for this one, which is I've not done with any roots, as you can see. So I'm just going to put a big blob of glue on that. And I'm probably going to have to leave that for a little while. And I might need to prop that up. I want it leaning a little bit, but not too much. There we are. So I'm going to have to work quite hard when I come to my basing material to really secure that tree in properly. Anyway, I'll leave that now to set. That'll probably take a good hour or 2 to set, and then when that's done, I'll bring you back for the next step. But that didn't take very long at all to twisty wire in, and I think it's actually going to end up looking okay. So another maybe potentially successful experiment. Well, that glued on really well. So what I'm going to do now is take my knife and just carve around the edge of it carefully, like this. And then when I've carved around the edge of it, I will then carve some rocky kind of texture, and then it can go and be painted. And that will look a lot better than the stock one. I don't know why they've done it open backed. It's very odd. There we are. So now what we'll do, if you look at how it's been done here, I'll just try to mirror the same kind of texture. Just basically take off all of the sharp straight edges, and make it look a bit like a rock. And then a bit of black paint, a bit of grey paint, and that'll be done. Oh yeah, so that'll look really well. So I'll paint that black and then grey, and then that'll at least not look quite so odd from the side or from the back. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come along now and snip off the ones that we don't want. But it shouldn't take too long and shouldn't be too hard. So just get some side snips here, some wire cutters. And we are going to cut off, unfortunately, these bits here that went too far and have gone over the edge. So I'll quickly get that done, and then I have my little miniature flamethrower, which is going to be a lot of fun. So yes, that's it. I'll bring you back when I finish doing this snipping. Right, now for the moment of truth. I have no idea what's going to happen here, and we're going to record it on camera. So I have my little flamethrower, which I use for my degassing my resin. And we're just going to kind of play it in. Oh look, it shrinks. There we are. So it kind of just seems to burn off the outside. It's quite quick. Bit stinky. You probably want to do this in a relatively well ventilated area, which my room is, because I have my window open. Oh, there's one I didn't clip, so I need to snip that. Didn't see that. But that's pretty quick. Not sure how long it stays hot for, but yeah, there we are. Right, so I'll snip that last one off that I've missed. It doesn't stay hot for any time at all. And as I hoped, it does actually make it a little bit more stable, though of course it'll be much more stable once I surround it, because I'm not doing a crazy colourful tree like this. Though if you were doing an alien planet, I can see this working quite well, and I might actually end up indeed in the future doing one a bit like this. Anyway, that was very successful, and I'm glad that I've given this a try, having always put it off because I thought it was a silly idea for silly people, but it turns out I was wrong. So I've made some pipe cleaner trees. How cool. I painted up the base, as you can see, in a funky check black and white pattern. So what I'm now going to do is glue Rosie. Sounds odd, feels odd to me saying that. Glue Rosie to that base. And that means that Rosie and Gaffer is completed, so that's really awesome. I've slowed down quite a lot on my painting up my miniatures recently, so it's nice to have finished that one, and I'm really pleased with that base. I think it looks really cool. So yeah, there we are. That was a fun little project. Well, I tried to spray paint this and it just didn't work. All the colours are still there quite clearly, and I don't think the paint is going to be enough, and also it's just still very floppy and very much at risk of being damaged. So I think I'm going to go for the toilet roll idea again. So toilet roll with glue, just in the same way as I did on the other ones, and then when that's done I'll paint it again and I'll bring it back for that stage. So I'm just going to mash in some toilet roll just to make it a little bit more secure and to cover up the colours and make it less obvious that it's made from pipe cleaners. But I'm pretty pleased with this technique in terms of actually the winding. It was much easier than using real wire or normal wire, and I think they've turned out quite nice. So yeah, let's get this done and crack on with this project, because it's running out of time now. Right, so that undercoat's gone on nicely. So what I'm now going to do is come along and paint grey over, and not worrying too much about missing some of the gaps. It's not a dry brush by any means, but if there's a little bit of black showing, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm just going to cover this over, and then we have a much nicer throne for the Goblin King. than the stock one, because it's actually got a back to it. There we are. Won't take long to do this. So yeah, when that's I'll get that done and show what it looks like at the end of the project, probably when we'll put it all together. Still waiting for the rest of this to arrive. When it does, then I will have to really crack on, because I'm probably going to run out of time on this, unfortunately. But I'm going to do the best I can and get it as far as I can to do a full table of it. So yeah, but we'll see when it arrives and how much time I have to work on it. But at least this is done, and I'm having fun downstairs at the painting bench, actually painting up Goblin and throwing Goblin, which will also hopefully be done before the end of this challenge. Well, I've been kind of stymied by this project for quite a long time, mainly out of fear, and I've decided I've just got to get it done. And so I've come along and I've just snipped all of the parts out for the bear. What I'm going to do, I think, how I'm going to work this is, for example, with the head, I'm going to glue the jaws on as they would go if you were doing it properly, like normally, like that. And then once that's on, I'm going to come along, I'm going to cut a V out and straighten his head up. So I'm going to do that after I've attached the head, just so that I can get the V into the right place, and then I'll fill the gaps in with green stuff. Should be able to sculpt it okay, or if not with green stuff in milliput. And then the same kind of idea for the legs. So that's how the leg would normally go, like that. And to be honest, I think the back legs are actually relatively okay. If you think what I'm wanting to have it done is coming in with him splayed, the real difficulty is going to be on the front legs. So if we look at how, this is how he's supposed to be, standing up like that, and I'm wanting to turn him around so he's about to land on someone. I think, as I say, probably what I need to do is get the head done right, have a look at the head, get that straightened out right, and then see how much I think I need to splay the legs to make it so that he's about to land on a bunch of Gundabads. Which brings me to the next thing. Here's the base. That's what he's going to be sitting on. And here, still all in the sprues, are my Gundabad warriors. So what I'm also going to do while I'm gluing that on, I'm going to cut these out and tidy these up, and just probably use some blue tack or something just to, and probably glue them all together in the way that they are on the sprue, and see how many I can fit on. I can probably fit 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6. And then once I've got the bear will then be basically glued to the top of these figures, which is not going to be very secure. I'm a little bit nervous about that, and about actually making that how that's going to work, but I'm going to give it a go. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue the face on the bear, cut or prepare and glue together the warriors, all of the warriors probably, and then once that's done I can work out what shape I want the legs to be in, and then I can work out what points of contact I need to have onto the Gundabads, and then the whole thing can come together. I can't stop. I can't keep staring at it being scared. I need to just give it get started. So yeah, I'm going to get started. Let's do that on camera. Let's glue his head on. So when that's set and completely done, I will come along and I'll straighten his head up, and I'll bring you along, show you how to do that when I get to it. But now I'm just going to cut and glue together and assemble all of these warriors, so that yeah, at least this project is on the go. As I've been assembling the Gundabad warriors, I've been having second thoughts, because these are not very sturdy. They're pretty flimsy, and I'm really not sure how I would reliably go about suspending that big hunk of resin and attaching it on top of even quite a few of these. I think it would be incredibly flimsy. So yeah, I don't think that's going to work. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make use of the upright stance and a little bit more of his standard stance, which is a shame because I was quite looking forward to doing the splayed out. But I am going to have him throwing, so I'm going to turn one of the arms around and have him throwing a Gundabad like that, and I'm going to have more surrounding him. So it's going to be slightly less cool of an idea of it, as of him falling down out of the air, which was one of my favourite scenes in The Hobbit, as short as it is. I just love that. Airborne Beorn is just the best thing. So it's going to be slightly less awesome than that, but it still should capture just that scene where he's basically just rampaging through the orcs and being really cool. So still some converting to be done. The stance he's got, I'm not sure about. I think it's a little bit low, so I think what I'm going to have to do is cut that leg a bit, shape that leg so he's a bit more upright, so maybe a little bit more like that. And then, so I might work on the stance first, and then I think I'll work on the arms and getting some Gundabad, maybe one Gundabad even in his mouth. I might do, and then have another Gundabad being thrown and another couple in front of him, maybe ones with the spears trying to attack him or something like that. So still going to do a really cool little dynamic base. It's just not going to be quite as awesome as I was hoping, but you can't get away from the fact that the Finecast, much as I don't mind working with it, is flimsy. So if it was metal, if they were metal, then it'll be all right. I'd be able to sit them on top really easily, wouldn't be a problem. But they're not metal. If they were plastic, that would also be okay. So yeah, it's going to be cool still, just not quite what I wanted. Maybe in the future I'll try again. I'll start again to buy another Beorn and try that original idea. But I don't think it's going to happen on this one. So there you are. As I say, such a busy week, just did everything else going on in my life that I just didn't get as much as I wanted to done on the hobby, but I still suppose I progressed a little bit more than I even realised, so that's a nice feeling, having just edited this down for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got this far, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. As I said in the intro, don't be shy, do say hello. I love those comments and they do really inspire me, so yeah, do say hello, and let me know your thoughts on any of these projects. I've got loads and loads of other projects obviously that I'm not working on at the moment, purely because of time, so they will come back into the vlog once this crazy busy period of tourney goes away, hopefully, fingers crossed. we can but hope. So I'll wrap up by saying, as I currently always do, it's been over a year now. Anyone out there, any one of my viewers who is impacted directly or indirectly by the horrible war in Ukraine, my thoughts do go out to you and anyone you know who may be in that horrific situation. And to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe and stay well.